Thank you so much, Councilwoman Cartwright. So at this time, we are going to recognize the first of our honorees for this evening. We are so excited to have members of the Bethel Hobbs Farm Board of Directors, the farm management, members of the Bethel AME Church here with us tonight to celebrate. So I'm going to ask if they would please come forward. Please join me in welcoming them. So when we thought about the 2019 theme, Black Migrations, we wanted to look locally at those that had migrated here in our community. And one of the first names that came up was the Bethel Hobbs Community Farm and the story of Mr. Hobbs. And the Bethel Hobbs Farm has been a gathering place, has been a community center. It's been a place where people learn all about farming and agriculture, and also a community. And it's been a location that has helped develop a sense of place for that particular area within Brookhaven. So at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Ann Pellegrino, Larry Corbett. I'd like you to also introduce the other members of Justin Bailey and any of the other members of the church, of the Bethel Church that are here. We'd like to ask you to say a few words about the farm at this time.
Greetings, and thank you, Supervisor Morituri, because your comments really, I think, lead into what Bethel Hobbs Farm is all about. People coming together regardless of color to further the legacy of Mr. Alfred Hobbs. So just before I just make a couple comments, and then the person who really drives the farm, and Pellegrino will speak for a couple minutes, and then Justin Bailey also. But my wife is there, Leslie Corbett. She's a member of Bethel AME Church, and she helps out with us at the farm. And then thank you. Mr. Herman Walker's over there, and he had the actual experience of actually knowing and working with Mr. Hobbs. So we thank you for that. And then Greta, his daughter, is there, and she works now on the farm with us with our farm stand. And then Greg Pellegrino, Ann's second half, also works a lot on the farm and takes care when we have major issues with our farm equipment. I'm going to let Ann do main talking because she really knows a lot about the farm. I had a chance to get involved. I met Mr. Hobbs briefly just before he passed on at our church. And I didn't realize all that he had done, but now going back and reviewing the history and looking at all he's done, the legacy he left was that of a man of honesty and passion, but more so generosity. So Mr. Hobbs did a lot of things to not only run the farm and make money, but to give back to the community. And at that time, again, when he was very involved in it, it was, again, a very multicultural situation, which I'm appreciative of. And then at some point in time, again, the farm went in a dormant stage after he had devoted willed the farm to our church. And a person stepped up, and that's Ann Pellegrino. She stepped up in a farm that had been abandoned by our community in terms of our church, and saw Mr. Hobbs' vision of the legacy of this farm being a place for all people to be there and do things together. So with that, I'm just going to let her come over, and I'll just say two things. We've left in your agenda here a brief history of Mr. Hobbs, and there's a farm sheet about the farm and all that we do. And we need volunteers. We need to continue Mr. Hobbs' legacy and dream that the farm would be a place where all people, regardless of your color, of your religion, other issues, would come together and make our community better. So please review the documentation about his legacy, review our farm sheet to find out what we're doing, and hopefully see you in 2019.
First, I'd like to say that the farm really is a community farm, and without the community supporting us and backing us up, it wouldn't exist. Kevin LaValle has been a huge, tremendous supporter of us, and Tom Tom Muratori, and as well as, I'm sorry, Supervisor as well. I'm sorry. I really have to thank the Bethel Church, though, for really standing their ground. A lot of people, when they saw the land in disarray and abandoned, a lot of people came forward and wanted to purchase the property for their own well-being and put up condos or, housing developments and stuff like that. But they stood their ground. They knew Mr. Hobbs's vision. He wanted it to remain a farm. And used for children as well. And they really stood their ground and made that vision come true. So I just really, they have my utmost respect as far as that goes. The farm really is a community thing, and it's not one person, it's not two people, it's not three people, it's all of us together. And I see a lot of faces out here that have been at the farm and that have helped out, and I thank you for that. And it's a community thing, and it's all run by volunteers, and we're just trying to keep the vision going. We all don't know what the afterlife is, but I can envision Mr. Hobbs leaning over the balcony of heaven, sometimes pulling his hair out, what are they doing? And other times just having a beam in his eye and a smile across his face, and just, thanking God that his vision has come true. So I thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Justin Bailey. I just want to mirror what Larry has said, that Ann is really the curator of the fort there. She really runs everything, and it's unbelievable, her strength and her power. And the impetus behind doing this, the story that I heard was that she was farming or doing some gardening at her house at one point, and I think she wanted to maybe increase or try to work a larger space of farm to be able to provide, fruits and vegetables. And I think down the street from her house, of course, is Hobbs Farm. So in essence, she looked down the street and said, I wonder if I could either purchase or work or try to make something happen down there, because at that time, I don't think it was a functioning farm because Mr. Hobbs had died. And as she said, it became just in disrepair. So I don't know who she spoke to, but she started working there at the farm. And when I say this woman has power and is very strong, and, well, she could say bullheaded, but I'm saying she has compassion and empathy for everyone and anyone that works there. And mainly for the land and the dirt. Remember, the soil is the important thing to most of us. The soil holds the power because it not only feeds us, it also makes us grow. So in essence, Ann has given that farm the sunshine that it needs for everything to grow down on that farm. So she's made it work. My minor performance on the job is in construction. I do some painting there. I may do some development with some of the roofing. But I also get down in the dirt myself and also weed, grow, water, whatever's needed. So like Ann said before, there are faces here that have been at the farm, and we need more faces down at that farm that will come in and put in some time there. Even if it's an hour, even if it's 10 hours, we need bodies there. Thank you.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Tom Lyons. Tom Lyons was a major contributor to the farm, and so Tom, thank you so much, and Jen Ross also. Thank you, Jen.
So at this time, I'd like Supervisor Romaine, Councilwoman Cartwright to please join us in our presentation.
To the Bethel Hobbs Farm today, this first day of February, this first day of Black History Month, is proclaimed throughout the town of Brookhaven as Bethel Hobbs Community Farm Day in the town of Brookhaven, for the contribution you make.
Thank you. Thank you.